A whistleblower told I-Team investigator Lynnsey Gardner he turned over to the FBI, and Lynnsey's here now. Lynnsey.
Well, Mary, I sat down today with Reverend Anthony Beeks. He told me federal agents first came to his home months ago to ask him directly about Pollock's relationship with Congresswoman Corrine Brown. He told me this was right after Brown was served a federal subpoena in January. Sources say that's tied to One Door for Education. Now the Reverend has reached back out to the feds about these checks.
He never told us anything. He just said it. We asked him why did he write them. He says on the bottom of the check, and he hung up his phone. Meaning that was in the memo section. And the memo section of the check said that he paid him a consultant fee.
That's Reverend Anthony Beeks recalling his conversation with Lynnsey Pollock, who used to work for his insurance company during and after Pollock's failed bid to be on the Jacksonville City Council. Beeks tells the I-Team federal agent stopped by a few months ago to ask him pointedly about the relationship between Lynnsey Pollock and Congresswoman Corrine Brown and other associates.
I know one thing, the federal government don't play when it comes down to telling the truth.
What transpired, Beeks said, are in these checks. He found them after the first federal visit and faxed them to the FBI. The first, a $25,000 check written to the business by Florida Blue in November of 2015. Beeks then provided this deposit slip to the I-Team made a few days later, showing Lynnsey Pollock deposited a check for that amount and kept $2,500 in cash. A few days after that, Pollock writes two checks connected to an organization tied to Corrine Brown, the same one that's under federal investigation, One Door for Education. Beeks says the checks were deposited by the charity despite being written to Open Door. Also, two more checks were found at the same time, written by Lynnsey Pollock to another Corrine Brown associate, Cyatis Jackson, both written on the same day, one for $3,000, the other for $7,850.
And then two checks being written for $10,000 broken up in $3,000 and $7,850. I threw up a flag right there, and you cashed it at two different SunTrust banks. That threw up a red flag.
Beeks said another red flag was thrown in the memo line where Pollock wrote consulting as the reason for the checks to Cyatis Jackson.
I never thought that Ms. Corrine Brown and Cyatis Jackson would be mixed up in the checks from our business because we never do business with them.
So Beeks denied he ever hired Cyatis Jackson to do any consulting work. He also told the I-Team he did serve 3 years in prison for a previous federal crime and has turned his life around and is an honest man. Lynnsey Pollock's attorney told me today the issue is, quote, a domestic dispute between the two former business associates and nothing more. He also said, quote, it's true the feds were there. I would counsel my client to not make any statement. Tom and Mary.
Thank you, Lynnsey.